Good morning. Om Shanti.
Good morning, Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Good morning, Om Shanti.
Good morning, Om Shanti.
You want to take that seat, sister? So how is everyone doing? Good. So we have angels here. We have Sister Jenny who just arrived. Welcome. It's good to see you after Om Shanti, more than 1.5 years almost, right?
It was wonderful. We're blessed to be here.
Thank you. How's Madison? Is doing well.
She's doing wonderful.
Right. That's great. Did you all happen to see her? Let me put the camera over here so she can say hello. Yeah. Can we all see her?
Yes, Om Shanti. Hello, Sister
And-
Jenny.
And Rekha Ben, Kiran Ben, Pallavi Ben, you can also come and say hello.
Hello, Om Shanti.
Come.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti, Rekha Bhan. Seeing you after a long
Shanti.
time.
Yeah, we miss you,
Mhm.
everybody.
We too. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Happy birthday again.
Thank you. Om Shanti. Thank you.
And Kiran Ben, Pallavi Ben can also come and say hello. Hey, Pallavi Ben, you wanna come and say hello to everyone?
Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Pallavi Bhan.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Happy birthday again, Rinku Ben.
Thank you. Om Shanti. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Shanti.
Shanti.
Yes, Kiran Ben, she would like to come and say hello. Om Shanti, Kiran Ben.
Kiran Ben.
You wanna come and say hello to everyone?
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Kiran Bhan. Nice to see you.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Tenir Ben. And nice to hear from and Kamal Bhai too. Happy birthday to Kamal. Belated birthday. And
Thank you very much, Kiran. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you.
Simran Bhai, I hope you are feeling better. I don't know how you drove with your sprained ankle though. Because Om Shanti.
Great. Thank you. So times are getting, it's good that things are opening up these days and they're getting chance to see each other in person. Today, the topic that we thought to explore together, it's called a non-stick mind. A non-stick mind. We've all used what we call as non-stick pans, right? We've all used non-stick pans. It's like a state where nothing sticks in the mind. We all know how it feels when something sticks in the mind. Don't like that sticky feeling, do we? And something sticks, then it is like, that is what I keep on thinking about. That is what, as if that situation or that person is now owning me, rather than I be in charge. That person or situation is begin to own me, own my mind. We all have sticky notes that we use, in our day-to-day work. But then it's good to have a sticky note. But then when the mind becomes sticky, begins to cling on to, and what does it cling on to generally? What does the mind cling on to? Does it cling on to the good things very easily? Does it cling on to relatively? Does it cling on to whatever good is happening in me, in my life very easily? Does it cling on to the goodness in everyone? Does it cling on to the divine very easily? Or does it cling to the not so good things easily? What is the general experience? What do you think? Right. It clings on to the dirt and negativity much faster, doesn't it? So how to have a state of mind that is non-stick, that doesn't stick. So let us begin to explore this today. We all, when we were kids, we used to play in the rain. And you just see here, it's a child playing in the rain, but what is he wearing? A raincoat, right? And because he's wearing a raincoat, the water is not entering, it's not getting soaked up in the water. And so this coating that we talking about here is so important, because when we really are in that coating, then we feel we are completely protected. And when we are completely protected, we can really enjoy the play of life. Rain doesn't feel like something that I have to be afraid of, or for me to become defensive or not to enjoy, but it makes my mind like a child, and I want to go out and enjoy the rain life. I want to go in out there. So waterproof, becoming waterproof. And so many things that we use in our day-to-day life are useful when they are proof. Like raincoat is waterproof. We use, when there is a leak, we use some sealing which is also proof so that it doesn't leak. So the main idea is it stops leakage. It doesn't allow the leaking to happen. Right? We use a word in spiritual language, and we call it Maya proof. You know, Maya proof, Maya, the illusion. So to be proof of the illusion means a non-stick mind is illusion proof. It's Maya proof. So it only knows how to live in the reality, in the truth. It doesn't entertain any thoughts of illusion. It always is naturally present in the reality without any effort. It's like with an effortless ease, I'm away from the illusion of the world. And so to really play, one is to live the life and one is to play. The attitude of playing. Kids always, with kids, we give them anything, they would like to play with it because their attitude in life is to play. And they play, and they will get hurt, but they will get up and they will again start playing. It's very difficult to discourage children, is it not? Even if they'll have an argument, but the next moment they'll forget it and they'll again start to play. There's so much to learn from kids. Right? We were all kids. And so to be really that attitude of playing a game, of playing, that I'm playing. Just like a musician plays his instrument. And he's playing to enjoy. We have musicians in the family also, we all know, and we may also be, playing certain instruments, but this attitude of playing But the moment a musician thinks about, okay, maybe I have to now perform at an event, sometimes there's a brain fade as well, because that attitude of playing goes away. So the more there is this attitude of playing, the more I'm able to enjoy my life, irrespective of the rain. Even if there is rain, but I'll just play in the rain. There was once a father and a daughter. The daughter was young, maybe 5, 6 years old. They were walking in a park, and suddenly it started to pour heavily. And so the father was holding the hand of his daughter. And so one hand of the father was like this, and he was trying to look for a shelter. And the daughter, her one hand was in his father's hand, but her other hand it's like this. Because she said, oh, why doesn't it rain every day? I was waiting for it. I want to play. And the father said, no, you have to run. You have to find a shelter. There's nothing wrong in finding a shelter, but it's like the attitude. It's like the attitude of playing. So anything which is coming in life. So suppose I have a meeting with my boss tomorrow. Am I looking forward to it with excitement? When, oh my gosh, there's meeting. I have to. It's like the attitude of playing, of learning something. As kids, when there was an attitude of learning, we always used to enjoy everything because there's an attitude of learning. And that comes with playing. And it's not about playing is more than about victory and defeat. It's just the mere fun of playing, actually. Even if, when we were kids, even we used to get defeated. And say, that's fine, but I enjoyed the game. Right? And we used to play cricket, and many times they would say, okay, that's fine, let me lose, let the other person win, they'll be happy. But I enjoyed because I have played the game. Just this. That's what these times they say, the spirit of the game. Play in the spirit of. It's like we are all playing the game of life. But when we are Maya proof, then only we can have the attitude of playing. Otherwise, what happens is the mind gets into this tendency of taking things seriously or taking things personally, getting offended, defended. All those things come in. But when I'm proof, means when I have this non-stick coating on my mind, then nothing is actually about winning or losing. It's just about playing. So I'm just playing. Then even a deadline feels like, okay, let me have fun now. Let me see how it'll be fun. Yeah. So that attitude of fun, that fun element comes in the life when there is this coating. And we know a lot of mothers here, and we also have cooked. But how is it to cook in a pan which is a sticky pan versus a pan which is a non-stick pan? I remember that actually during lockdown, I was using a pan, but I didn't realize it didn't have this coating. So I used to, when I'm generally hungry and there's nothing to make, I'll just make some noodles, for example. So I'll make in the pan, but it'll be difficult to take it out because something will get stuck on it. But then later I realized I have a non-stick pan. So then I used to make everything in the non-stick pan. It's very easy to put and also take it out, right? So what's the difference between a sticky pan and a non-stick pan?
Extra coating.
Extra coating, right? We have this, we call it Teflon coating. Right? Teflon coating. So it still cooks. It still cooks, but it doesn't get attached to it. Right? It still cooks. It doesn't get attached to it. But without a Teflon coating, it cooks, but it gets attached to it also. That also makes the things burn a little bit. And then we have to scratch. But then when we are scratching, we're increasing the roughness of the pan. And so next time it will attach more. It's very interesting. And that's the way the mind works. So I do something, but if I get attached to it, attachment means I'm not able to forget it. So I do an action, any action, but when I've completed the action, I let go of that action. It doesn't stay in my mind. It's like non-stick, it doesn't stick in my mind. So I'm detached. But if I have to scrape it, then the next time also it has. But it's like developing that attitude with a coating so that it becomes a Teflon mind, not just a Teflon pan, but a Teflon mind. So it's very interesting how Teflon was made, Teflon, right? And how it works and why it doesn't stick with the, whatever is being cooked. So we have a little clip. So let's watch how this Teflon coating works.
Nothing stuck to mafia boss John Gotti, who evaded justice for years by bribing and threatening jurors and witnesses. That earned him the name the Teflon Don, after one of the slipperiest materials on Earth. Teflon was in the spacesuits the Apollo crew wore for the moon landing, in pipes and valves used in the Manhattan Project, and maybe in your kitchen, as the non-stick coating on frying pans and cookie sheets. So what is this slippery solid, and why doesn't anything stick to it? Teflon is a brand name for polytetrafluoroethylene, or PTFE. It was stumbled upon accidentally in 1938 by a 27-year-old American chemist named Roy Plunkett, while he was trying to develop a non-toxic refrigerant fluid for DuPont, a chemicals company. The strange white substance that formed inside his lab canister was chemically inert, meaning it wouldn't react with other substances. It also had an extremely low coefficient of friction, making other materials slide right off it. Teflon's properties make it perfect when you need something slippery, chemical resistant, or waterproof, which means it has a lot of applications. It can be found all over the place, as a coating on raincoats, industrial ball bearings, artificial joints, circuit boards, and even the Rocky Mountains-themed roof of the Denver International Airport. The incredible properties of PTFE come from its molecular structure. It's a polymer, meaning it's made of long chains of repeating units of atoms strung together. A PTFE chain has a backbone of carbon atoms, each of which is attached to two fluorines. The fluorine atoms surround the carbon like armor, spiraling around the chain, and the bond between carbon and fluorine is incredibly tight. Like a couple that ignores everyone except each other, carbon and fluorine interact so strongly that the normal intermolecular forces that help substances stick to each other don't stand a chance. Even the famously adhesive feet of geckos usually can't get a grip.
It's very interesting how this works, right? And I actually got to know about it for the first time when I was looking for this. But this CF bond, the carbon fluorine bond, that's the key to that nothing sticks, because the carbon is bonded with fluorine, and fluorine has such properties that it doesn't allow anything to hit the carbon. And anything will come, but it will just repel it. It will just repel it. So to have a Teflon mind, what do we need? Yeah. What bond do we need? CF, like this fluorine bond. So we need to find a fluorine that we can bond to, and that fluorine has a mind that repels any negativity. You know any person that has a mind that repels any negativity or doesn't absorb any yeah, there's only one. Yeah, the divine. The divine. So when we have the fluorine, that bond with the divine all around us, and what is happening is, then when I'm bonded, there is one thing to be around, but one is to bond. bond. When there is a bond, it is difficult to break a bond because it needs certain energy. And that's every bond has a bond energy. So if my bond energy is very high with the divine, then what happens is any situation comes, but the situation has to reach a certain critical temperature or something to actually break the bond. Otherwise, the bond will not break. And until the bond is intact, that's why Teflon also, it's not, it'll be non-stick forever. There is a certain temperature, which is like 500 Fahrenheit. I think these days it is, yesterday I was reading is 130 Fahrenheit in San Francisco or California this weekend. But it needs 500 Fahrenheit in order for that Teflon to melt away. So when the bond energy is so strong, then it becomes very difficult to break the bond. And then my mind, because there is bond, so then whatever is coming, it is first coming to the fluorine, because it is all around the cup. So even in my mind, there is something, but it first has to hit the divine, and then it has to come to me. So when it hits the divine, then the divine, what it does is, whatever is the negativity, it will just repel. And whatever is the goodness emerging out of it, only that I will absorb. So then every situation will feel like, oh, it is something good. It is something good. So with God, everything is good. Everything is good in the company of God. So we have to be like a couple, right, with God. Yeah. So when I build this CF, right, and like in this picture, it shows the red one just depressed, it cannot do anything now. So in the same way, any situation, circumstance, we call it Maya. It will come, but it cannot do anything. It loses its power. So developing this bond, and we call it actually increasing our experience of belonging to the divine. The feeling of belonging to the divine. How much do I have that feeling that I belong? When I say, who am I? I say, whose am I? Whose am I? Whose am I really? And very easy way to also maintain the attitude towards every soul is to see and realize that if I'm thinking about someone, whose child that soul is? And the answer is, he's also his child. So am I allowed to think? Because it's God's child. I'm not allowed because it's God's child. I cannot think in any other way. Means I don't give any permission for my mind when this bond is strong to go in any direction of wasteful thought. It's not allowed. And so today, that's what we were discussing, is this realization, this love that is for the divine and also for everyone in this world. But that comes when there is that strength in the bond. But what weakens this relationship, what weakens is this. You see, the illusion of mind. The illusion of mind. What creates percentage, meaning that, so what makes the bond energy weak, or what doesn't allow me to create a very strong bond, is that I feel this mind, I take this respect, self-respect in something that is in this world, the illusion of mind. And that's what we call it stickiness. That attachment is when I say something or someone is mine, then I begin to think about it. So if it is my friend's problem, then still maybe I'll think. It's about a problem of someone that I don't know, I won't think about it. But if it's my friend's problem, I'll think about it. If it's my family's problem, I'll think about it. If it's mine, I'll maybe think about it. But if it is somebody else that I don't know, I won't think about it. I will have good wishes, okay, but it won't consume my mind. So whatever I think is mine, what it does is it may give a sense of security for a small time, short time. Because that's why we say mine. But then in the long run, it actually creates this fear of loss. And then I begin to think about it. And that's why I get stuck to it. So to create a Teflon mind or a non-sticky mind, this is something I need to work on. Mind. So the other day we were discussing, it's like someone says, how are you? They'll say, I'm fine. And internally I'll say, nothing is mine. Nothing is mine. And that's the reality also, that nothing is mine. Now, what did we bring along with us when we came? And what will we take away with us when we leave? Nothing is mine. I enter a hotel, I know what I took, what I carried with me, my luggage, and that is what I'll take. But whatever is in the room, it belongs to the room, the hotel. So whatever it is that I'm using in life, I'm using it, but it doesn't belong to me. It has been given to me. I'm using it. So this is where the illusion comes. Illusion means something which is false. It is really false. If I say something or someone is mine, it is false statement because they are not. So to see everyone. So if I catch my thoughts, like my thoughts are getting stuck to something. So let me just step back and see, is this person or this situation really mine or not? Is it mine? Let me think about it. Is it mine? And let the answer come, no, it is really not. And when there is not, then what happens is there is this feeling that emerges that he's not mine, but he's God's child. And so there is love. And that love is a selfless love, spiritual love. We call it.
Trust.
Yeah.
Trust.
Yeah. So we'll say child, my child, no, God's child. I'm a trustee of that. So what it does, it makes the relationship very beautiful because then there is no insecurity. Because God's child, so who will think about God? So even if I have to think about something, because he's God's child, so I have to first talk to God because he's God's child. I cannot make a decision for him because he's God's child. So I have to first ask God, okay, tell me, what should I do? So this is a trustee consciousness where I'm not allowed to think about anything. So then nothing will stick. It's just this strong bond. In psychology, people have researched into this mind, and what they say is there are levels of attachment. And when a child is born, the child is until almost 6 to 7 months. He is not able to differentiate between any caregiver. He can go to anyone because his conditioning of mind has not yet come. But after that, he will maybe go more to his parents, maybe after that more to his mother, for example. And then he starts to develop a sense of mind. But initially there is no sense of mind. It's just, okay, I'm in this world. And so let's watch a clip where it shows how this mind develops. So when we first came, there is nothing, but then gradually it begins to develop. And how it is so deep rooted in our thinking, in our psyche, that's what is creating stickiness in the mind.
After witnessing the violent rage shown by babies whenever deprived of an item they considered their own, Jean Piaget, a founding father of child psychology, observed something profound about human nature. Our sense of ownership emerges incredibly early. Why are we so clingy? There's a well-established phenomenon in psychology known as the endowment effect, where we value items much more highly just as soon as we own them. In one famous demonstration, students were given a choice between a coffee mug or a Swiss chocolate bar as a reward for helping out with research. Half chose the mug and half chose the chocolate. That is, they seemed to value the two rewards similarly. Other students were given a mug first and then a surprise chance to swap it for a chocolate bar, but only 11% wanted to. Yet another group started out with chocolate, and most preferred to keep it rather than swap. In other words, the students nearly always put greater value on whichever reward they started out with. Part of this has to do with how quickly we form connections between our sense of self and the things we consider ours. That can even be seen at the neural level. In one experiment, neuroscientists scanned participants' brains while they allocated various objects either to a basket labeled mine or another labeled Alex's. When participants subsequently looked at their new things, their brains showed more activity in a region that usually flickers into life whenever we think about ourselves. Another reason we're so fond of our possessions is that from a young age, we believe they have a unique essence. Psychologists showed us this by using an illusion to convince 3 to 6-year-olds they built a copying machine, a device that could create perfect replicas of any item. When offered a choice between their favorite toy or an apparently exact copy, the majority of the children favored the original. In fact, they were often horrified at the prospect of taking home a copy. This magical thinking about objects isn't something we grow out of. Rather, it persists into adulthood while becoming ever more elaborate. For example,
It's very interesting how this whole thing works. How we develop this attitude of mind. And I really liked in this when they said that, so when they put something in the basket, that basket is labeled mine. What is a basket? It's just a label, mine. So I'm more attached to it versus it is labeled Alex's. Such a deep-rooted this feeling that we have. So it's exact replica of the toy, but he says no, because somewhere his emotions have attached to that. And so when in letting go, he's not letting go of the object, but letting go, he has to let go of that image that is created inside. So this deep attachment is all that is to memory that I create. And it starts very early on in our childhood. And then it comes to a point where, everything I want to put a label, mine, mine, mine. The list will never end. And what happens, the more I create the label mine, then it's like maybe I'll get a sense of security for a short time. But then in the long run, what it does is it increases my insecurity because now I have more things to lose. Before I had just one thing to lose, for example. But now if I have 10 things, I have 10 things to lose. Something can happen to 10 things. That's why they say people, those who are successful, they have this inner security that their value is not in what is outside or what their possessions or ambitions. It comes from a deep sense of, so that's where whatever is mine, I place my value in it. That's how it is happening internally. And that's why whatever I am valuing, that's where my mind will get stuck onto. And so that this strong bond allows me to take my value from God. So my value is, and this mind is so deep because then one thing is about the physical objects. It's easy to say, okay, this is not mine. But then it comes to, my strength, my speciality, my idea, my opinion. There's a lot of things. It comes. And that is what it leads to different, we'll say, stickiness. So let's discuss a few different types of stickiness that we can generally happens in our life. So one such stickiness is this. We say Mr. Doubt and misunderstanding. Mr. Doubt and misunderstanding. We say majority of the problems arise because of these two. We begin to doubt. And again, feeling of doubt comes. Again, when I check back, if I doubt someone's intentions, for example, then this feeling of doubt comes when I feel insecure because I feel that they are somebody else, they want to take something from me. But when I realize I don't have anything, what can they take? And then there is this feeling of love that they belong to God. Then I have a faith in them. When there is faith and trust, there is no doubt. Because it spins the mind, doubt. It really spins the mind, doubt. And that's where the mind gets stuck. One is stickiness, one thing is to get stuck. Stuck. I was sharing yesterday, I was trying to open a drawer, but something got stuck. And the way it got stuck was very interesting. It was a balun with which we wrote the chapati. It was a little drawer, but the drawer was like this. So one part of the balun was sticking here, and the other was sticking over there. So I couldn't move it at all. And when the mind gets stuck in something, then it's difficult to move out of it. But when I realize, and this is an inner work, that if I'm operating from a space of doubt or misunderstanding, then I have to check what is that thing, that one thing that is making my mind get stuck. So I have to then identify it. And I have to then let it go inside me, that this is not mine. This is not mine. And then the mind will stop sticking to it. It gets stuck to it. And it's true with a lot of relationships. These things come. When we're working in teams, for example, it's so important. Who does this, who takes the credit for it? At work also, it is true. So this is something that, with this is a game of mind. And today we were learning about this, the cycle of if and but. If this would have happened, but it happened this way. So it's like, again, this is a spin that I'm allowing my mind to get engaged in. And that's what is, the mind gets stuck in. There's generally one key thing that needs to just be removed. Like sometimes, like the drainage will get stuck with something. But then when the person comes, what does he do? We'll check, and then what is something. It could be sometimes a very small thing that is causing the entire, and then it will overflow, and then it'll create a mess. And that's what happens mentally also, emotionally also. There's sometimes one thing that I'm holding on to, I'm not able to let go in my mind. It is creating an overflow of emotions. And sometimes it gets dirty and messy. It can also spill over to other people. But it's all based in some illusion of mine that I'm not able to let go of. So few in science, that's what they say. It's called, they have different elements in the periodic table. So there's certain elements that are called reactive element. A reactive element means, just like an atom, they have a energy level, and reactive elements do not have their outermost energy level fully occupied by electrons. So when it is fully occupied, then it becomes an inert, but otherwise it becomes reactive. So what it means is, if my illusion of mind is persisting, and that is not allowing me to have just the divine in my outermost, with which the energy with which I'm interacting with the world, if it is not filled with the divine energy, then there's something which is free. And that is where the illusion will attack. And so that's why it's so important when we come into, that's why like when we go out to work, we come into action, prior to that, we need to create our stage. If we just come like that, then we are more prone to reacting. So if I find myself reacting, maybe not externally, but internally, maybe there's something happening, I'm reacting to it in my mind. It means my valence shell is not completely filled with the divine. There's still scope. So that's why morning meditation, morning spiritual knowledge allows me to really fill my mind with that. And so then when I go out for work, then there's nothing. So the mind will not chatter. It will be very still, calm. Otherwise, there's a tendency to lose or gain electrons from other elements. Right. So the tendency will be either, so the insecurity of losing or wanting to gain something. There are many reactive elements, say hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, sodium. And on the other hand, there are inert elements. This is what we used to study in chemistry. So inert. And the name they give to inert is noble gas. That's what they say, noble gas. So noble gas is noble. And if we want to be a noble person, a noble soul, what do we need to do? Our outermost level should be occupied with the energy of the divine. Only then I'll become noble. Otherwise, I'll feel I'm noble, but it will still be an exchange of some energy from the others. So being inert, like in that video also, like Teflon is inert. It doesn't react. It comes, it doesn't react. There's no inner dialogue happening. There's no reaction. I'm just responding to it. I'm hearing, witnessing, I'm responding, I'm not reacting to it. So being inert like a noble gas. So one thing that allows me to really do this, be inert, is this practice. Is anyone here who watches Cartoon Network? Right? Right?
Yes.
Used to. But if we realize that we are in a Cartoon Network, this life is a Cartoon Network. So we have different people that we deal with. So let me put a cartoon character to them. So this is to get rid of the illusion of mind. It's very good to think in this way, cartoon. So we have some funny cartoon characters, some cartoon characters that are demanding, that will yell. But even when I see a cartoon yelling at someone, I'll feel, oh, wow, that's good. I won't be emotionally entangled to it. So this seeing life as a cartoon show, it's one of the practices that really kind of completely flushes out any emotional baggage. No. This is something which, whenever I practice, I feel so good with it. It's a cartoon show. It's a cartoon show.
That's good.
That's good. And children like cartoons. Why they like cartoons? Because they want to play. So this is all linked. Like children play cartoons. Children also, small children won't have this sense of mind that much as they grow up later. So we are whose children? God's children. And God has created a cartoon show for us, for us to enjoy. Like parents will say, okay, today is this cartoon. They'll buy a DVD of a cartoon for their kids. Can now enjoy. And they will just sing along and then watch and dance. The seeing life as a cartoon show. So everyday cartoon show. Let me enjoy the cartoon show. Oh, nice. So it's good to have at the end of the day, when I'm wrapping up the day, to see the day as a cartoon show. It's a cartoon show. Different characters came, said something happened, and then it just creates a sense of fun and enjoyment. Another practice that helps is, and it is a story of Panchanala, where there is a little wooden Vemik right here, and his name is Panchanello. So he gets all the dots. Dots means he's not looking good, so someone will give him a dot. And there is this lady called Lucia, where neither dots nor stickers will stick on her. Nothing sticks on her. So when we talk about a non-sticky mind, nothing sticks on her. So why does nothing stick on her? So in this story, it says, so Panchanello, like everything gets stuck on her and everyone gives comments, and he's very sad because he always gets bad comments. And then he sees this girl, Lucia, who is completely free of any stickers or dots. So he asks her, how is it that you don't have any stickers? Nothing sticks on you. So she says, nothing sticks on me because every day I go and see Eli. This Eli, who is Eli? She says, Eli is the wood carver, the creator who has created all of us. But because every day I go see Eli, so I've gotten this power that nothing sticks on me. So he says, can I also get that power? He said, yes. So he goes to see Eli. And then when he faces Eli, he feels a lot of love from Eli. And so then Eli tells Panchanello that who is anyone else to give you stickers or dots? Stickers stick on you only if you let them. And Eli says, when you feel that what I think about you is more important than what others think about you, then the dots will not stay. And he really felt that love. And the moment he felt that love, one dot left him. It's like what God thinks about me is more important than what others think about me. But what God thinks about me, I'll only know when I'll hear from God. So every day when we hear from God, what God thinks about me. And that doesn't allow any other opinion for me to be important. I won't give importance or value to anyone else, any other opinion. And this is the last slide, and we'll just be, this is another practice and realization that helps me. We will say, companion of the divine and detached from, not from the world, but from the inner commentary about the world. So I still have to live in the world, do my duties, everything, be detached from it. But what happens is when I'm doing my work, then I get attached to it. Means I'm creating my inner commentary about it. I have to get detached from that commentary. No commentary. So I'm detached. So the more I develop this attitude of just looking at it as an observer, That's what our lesson was today. It's a companion and detached, a balance of the two. So I carry God, means my bond is very strong. And I'm also detached. In Hindi, we call it Sati and Sakshi. So when I'm lost and merged in this, God's perfect love makes me non-stick. Non-stick. So my mind becomes a non-stick mind. So let's take just a moment and experience right now. I'm a spiritual being in this physical costume. And I realize that whatever is surrounding me, I'm using it as someone who is a trustee. It belongs to God, and so I'm not allowed to create any thoughts about anything or anyone. Before creating any thought, I have to take God's permission, because it all belongs to God. And so by just realizing this, I'm completely free, because I realize that all I have, my inner bonding, is only with the divine, with God. And I realize that the rest is a cartoon show that is going on. It is for me to enjoy, to play in the rain of life, but with this raincoat on, with the Teflon coating of God's love. And when I do that, then there's no illusion. I don't live a life in illusion of mine. I realize that nothing is mine, but everyone is mine, because they belong to the divine. And so this attachment is replaced with the deep spiritual love, a love that acknowledges, accepts unconditionally, a love that is very, very pure. So let us right now have this pure feelings of love towards the divine and towards every soul in this world. They are all God's children, and we're all brothers and sisters of this divine family. And we have a non-stick Teflon mind. Thank you, Om Shanti. So maybe we can share. Kiran Ben and Rekha Ben, would you like to share first before you leave? Yeah. Just come. Yeah.
We have to live in this world, but the commentary that we play inside the mind, that is, we need to stop.
Mm.
We have to deal with everything, but while dealing with it, stop playing the commentary inside the mind, giving the rest to mind, and being detached and enjoying, like we
Enjoy. It rained yesterday, I believe. So.
Yeah. I took Veera in the rain. And she
Right?
said,
You
"No."
took the child in the rain. Come a little closer.
Yeah, same as Kiran Ben, be detached but loving, and be attached to God Himself, because He's our creator and He's given us this world to play in. So enjoy it, play, but don't be attached to anything. Even our children, they're God's children. So remember that. We have to take His advice if we need any to set our children in the right path. So I think that's the mistake I've made, that I've tried to deal with it myself. But now become null-stick and stick to God Himself. Seek the advice from Him. That's what I learned today, that's what I have to do more of.
So I was thinking when you said like trustee or like when the kids come, I play with them, I love them, I enjoy it. It's not my responsibility.
Right.
They're my
Yeah.
parents are there. It's their responsibility. I just have fun.
Right. That's true.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And detaching from identity, like a political affiliation or a race.
Yeah.
When you attach to that, you put division between you and other God's children.
True. That's true.
And the analogy of the illusion, our spiritual lives and our everyday lives, and having that cartoon makes it seem more playful to me, where when you have these things come up, if you attach a character to that person, it helps to dissolve it and seeing them in the same eyes that you would view your own children, all God's children.
Excellent. It's very interesting. Not to detach, right? It's very nice. Thank you. Any other thoughts? Please feel free to share your thoughts also. Those on the Zoom, please feel free to share.
Today's talk on the discourse on a non-stick mind is really unique and extraordinary, and a lot to understand and adopt. And thank you very much, Saurabhai, for a nice presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, Krishna. Any other thoughts?
Om Shanti, brother. Om Shanti, very meaningful talk and very meaningful presentation. It's you explained very well that how the Teflon layer works on non-stick pan. And if we have to be non-stick, then we have to have that CF bond. And F is the divine bond. And that divine bond cannot happen until we think that this is mine, or this, when we have feeling of mine, then it sticks to our pen. It sticks to our mind. And but when we think everything belongs to God, then that gives us that bond. And when we have bond with divine, then only we can be non-stick mind. So you explained very well. And you explained very well also that Sakshi and Sati, we have to have always remember God is my companion, and we have to observe this drama and enjoy it. By wearing the raincoat, enjoy the rain. And raincoat is divine pure love. And we have to share that divine love to all the brother and sister, because everybody is God's children. So thank you, very deep and very meaningful presentation. Thank you, brother. Thank you, family. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Sarojbhai. Om Shanti. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Om Shanti. So it's once again, very nice presentation, and the way it was laid out was very stepwise, and it was tried to explain that, okay, we want to play in the rain. That means that we need to have the drama of life has to continue. The only thing is that how we can prevent ourselves from not getting attached to that. So, and that Teflon coating example was very nice. So the drama of life can bring lots of pressure and temperature, which needs to be withstood by the Teflon coating, and which means that the CF bond has to be created, and the F bond is the divine bond, and we need to strengthen that. And at the same time, we need to somehow release the endowment effect, that, okay, nothing is mine, although it is deep rooted in us, but we still need to somehow get rid of this feeling that this is mine. The more I say, the more belongs to me, the more insecurity is developed, because more chances of losing it. So we need to get rid of that endowment effect, howsoever strong this is. Again, the divine coating, or say the Teflon coating in our life, will try to prevent that endowment effect deepening it. But we still must continue playing. We still must continue enjoying the life, but without getting attached to any of these things, which can prevent us from getting stuck to the situation, so that we can be free of these things and yet enjoy. So very nicely presented. Thank you very much. And Om Shanti. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Hi, and happy belated birthday also.
All right. No, thank you so much.
Birthday.
Thank you so much. All right. Okay.
Any other thoughts to add? Thank you for the thoughts, Purnima Ben, Prem Ben, Jena Ben. Enjoy the rain as you have a raincoat with the Teflon coating and watch the cartoon of the live show. Everything is good in the company of God. Any other thoughts from our friends, Heather, Candice, Charmy Ben? Others, do you like to share some thoughts? Is that Rinku Ben on the phone, on the Zoom as well? Yes, please. Yes.
I have realized with my own personal experience that my Teflon coating is stronger when my bond with God is stronger. And I feel that when I do my practices morning and evening, things shed off, repel so much easier, because I have strengthened that bond the day. What you said was beautiful and perfect, because it does work. When I've made that time for myself and for God, it strengthens it, and it makes it easier for things to shed off. It makes my Teflon coating stronger.
It's true. Thank you. Any other inspirations, Rajesh Ben, Naresh Bhai, if you are there, I'd like to share some thoughts.
Om Shanti Sarabhai.
Om Shanti.
Today's class is companion of God and I am detached. Inert gases means completely satisfied, no desire, no expectation from anyone. So nothing is mine and everything is mine. It's perfect love to God. Everyone make us non-stick.
Mm.
So very wonderful class. Thank you, Saurabhai. Om
Thank
Shanti.
you.
Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Pedro. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Sarabhai, and family. The topic was very good and timely chosen. And एक चीज हिंदी में बोलूंगा मैं, जैसे होता है जैसे छोटे बच्चे को जब हम लोग क्रैच में छोड़ते हैं, मतलब टेक केयर करने के लिए घर से, जो पेरेंट्स सर्विंग पेरेंट्स होते हैं, तो बच्चे को बाहर छोड़ते हैं। तो अगर बच्चा 6 महीने से छोटा है या 3, 4, 5 महीने का, तो आराम से सेट हो जाता है। और बड़ा बच्चा होता है तो वो तंग करता है, और ज्यादा बड़ा होने से रोना पीटना शुरू कर देता है। क्योंकि वो छोटे बच्चा जब 4-5 महीने का होता है, वो पहचानता ही नहीं कि कौन मेरा है, कौन, सब अपने हैं उसको। तो ये बहुत अच्छा है कि अगर हम भगवान के बच्चे बने रहे, छोटे बच्चे बने रहे, तो हमें पता ही नहीं लगेगा कौन हमारा है कौन नहीं है, सब हमारे हैं। तो मतलब ये होता है कि मतलब तो उस तरह का अगर बिहेवियर है कि हम अपने आप को भगवान का छोटे बच्चे समझ के रहें, हम बड़े ना होना चाहें, क्यों बड़े होने से ही फिर हमको मालूम पड़ता है कि ये मेरा है, ये मेरा नहीं है, इसमें ये अच्छाई है, इसमें ये बुराई है। तो और जहाँ पर ये हम देखना शुरू कर देते हैं तो प्रॉब्लम होती है। और जैसे इनर्ट गैसेस का बताया था, नोबल गैसेस, इनर्ट गैसेस का, कि उनका जो आउटर जो ऑर्बिट है, आउटर मोस्ट ऑर्बिट, वो टोटल कंप्लीट सेटिस्फाइड होता है, ना उसके अंदर कुछ और आ सकता है ना कहीं जा सकता है। मतलब उसका जो न्यूक्लियस का जो पावर है वो सबको पकड़े हुआ है। तो उसी तरह से हमको होना है कि हम मतलब गॉड लव में और इतने समाये रहें, मतलब भगवान के प्यार में इतना हमारे अंदर भरा रहे, जैसे कहते हैं कि मतलब प्यार में एकदम डूबे हुए, भगवान के प्यार में समाये, भगवान का प्यार हमारे अंदर समाये। तो कोई भी इच्छा, कोई भी किसी से हमको अपेक्षा असर नहीं करेगी। और अगर हम असंतुष्ट रहेंगे तो जहां भी कुछ भी लगेगा तो हमको दुख होगा या सुख होगा, मिलेगा तो सुख होगा, अगर छिनेगा तो दुख होगा। तो ये बहुत अच्छा था टाइमली, मतलब अब जो पोजीशन भी चल रही है, इतना जो अभी एपिडेमिक पीरियड चल रहा है, तो इसमें कुछ भी हो सकता है कहीं भी। तो उससे बचने के लिए एक तो हम अपने आप को भगवान का बच्चा समझें, छोटा बच्चा समझ, जो हो रहा है ठीक है, और कोई भी उम्मीद ना रखें कोई भी किसी से भी। तो थैंक्स सो मच, बहुत अच्छा क्लास था। थैंक यू फैमिली।
थैंक यू।
इसीलिए बाबा कहते हैं कि बच्चे, तुम बच्चे बने रहोगे तो बच्चे रहोगे। अभी बाबा की जो परसों की मुरली में था, यही था कि आप शिव में ही रहोगे तो आप हमेशा डिटैच भी रहोगे, और वो उसका प्यार इतना मिलेगा तो मैं फिर किसी और की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी। तो शिव में ही, उसके प्यार में खोना माने शिव में ही बनना।
Very nice.
Thank you, Baba.
Yeah, they just share that how to consider ourselves to be a small child of God, like a very young child, not a very old child, because a young child doesn't have any other attachments. Right. Very nice. Great. Any final thoughts anyone would like to add? So we'll have a few blessings. This is for Saroj Pen. God dwells in your heart and you dwell in God's heart. This relationship,
so nice. So
you
nice.
enjoy
Beautiful.
complete success.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, brother. Beautiful.
Thank you, Saroj. And you know, Saroj is a lotus. Lotus also doesn't, has that non-stick property, the lotus leaf. That's what Saroj Pen is. So thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Kamal Bhai, by remaining close to God and distant from doubt, you obtain the heights of joy and the depths of understanding.
Thank you, very nice. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, family. Thank you, Saurabhai. Om Shanti.
And Galaxy M12, I believe that's Rinku Ben. If you are a wish, happy birthday again. Today is a birthday. A blessing for you. Your flying stage reveals that you have the true meaning of a promise. Loving yourself as much as God loves you. So you love yourself as much as God loves you. Thank you. Krishna Bhai, your golden heart perfectly fits in God's heart, molding it into a powerful beacon of true love. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Saurabh Bhai. Thank you very much, Saurabh Bhai.
Sister Candice, welcome. A blessing for you. You are a wise soul who understands that a promise to God simply means to let go without giving up. You're a wise soul who understands that promise to God is simply means to let go without giving up. Thank you. And for our angels, Rekha Ben, Kiran Ben, and Pallavi Ben, who are driving right now. So this one is for Rekha Ben. You are a special soul who has no desire for recognition, having recognized your unique place in God's heart. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Rekha Ben. Pallavi Ben, you are a pure soul whose inner beauty blossoms in the awareness of how loved you are by God. So you're loved by God. Thank you. And Kiran Ben, your heart is decorated with the brilliance of God's company, which can be seen through the radiance of your sweet nature. That's so true. Thank you.
Thank you, Saurabh Bhai.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a safe drive back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Rajesh Ben, you are a victorious jewel who conquers the heart of God through your honesty, courage, and truthfulness. Very nice. Vijay Ratan, Rajesh Ben, victorious jewel. Thank you. Naresh Bhai, by deepening all relationships with the Father, you heighten the sweetness of your life. By deepening all relationships with the Father, you heighten the sweetness of your life. Thank you, Naresh Bhai. And our sister Jenny, your natural nature of remaining loving and detached builds an imperishable bridge between your heart and God's. Beautiful.
Thank you, Saurabh Bhai.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
For you, please.
Okay, one for Saurabh Bhai. You're a real child who so powerfully connects with the ocean of peace, serve at every moment through the power of that love.
Very nice.
So true.
So
Thank
true.
you.
Thank you. Very
Thank
nice.
you.
Thank you. So true. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So enjoy the rest of the weekend, and thank you, Candice Ben, also for joining. Have a great rest of the day, everyone. Om Shanti. Thank you.